So this has been amazing. This will be actually the last thing that I do with you, and then I'll move it on to someone else that will take you to the end of the day. We're actually going to have a founder hot seat. And this topic is very, very important to me. And I'm lucky enough to have the perfect Fireside Chat partner here. He's from Happy or Not. He's the founder. And we're going to be talking about the role of happiness in building a successful company. And I welcome to the stage, Heikki. Round of applause for Heikki. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so should I introduce myself as well? Okay, I introduced before, but I'm very glad to talk. Personally, I'm from, my name is Yad Mick. I'm from Imagine, and I actually do imagination training for leaders and companies to help them use it as a tool for change to create a positive future, which is very important for startups and leaders and so on. And this is why I'm very happy to talk to Heikki at the moment. Heikki is, for those who don't know, Happy or Not is a leading customer experience platform that is doing amazingly well. It's simple, yet it's a very powerful system for customer satisfaction measurement and getting their feedback. They're operating in 135 countries. They have collected over 2 billion feedbacks so far. They won awards like at Deloitte's Fast 50. And the most exciting thing is they're working with over 4,000 clients, among them McDonald's, Miami Airport, London Heathrow Airport, and my personal favorite, San Francisco 49ers. Woo! Right?
That's right.
Okay, so we're talking about, we're really talking about happiness. And happiness is a topic that sometimes is not very much discussed in its role. And you're basically a tech company, but you actually collect people's feelings in a way, people's emotions, their outbreaks, they want to reply, and your system actually allows them to do that. And that brings me to the question of what is actually more important for a business? Is it the happiness of the customers or the happiness of the employees?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And like just said, we have a lot of customers, and we also have a lot of customers who are using our service for both. So for measuring how happy customers are, and also that how happy employees are. And to be honest, we have seen all combinations. So we have seen combinations where customers are happy, where employees are happy, but customers are not happy. And I don't know, maybe it's because employees are having a lot of fun, but like not maybe listening too much customers. We also have seen some situations where customers are happy, but employees are not actually happy. And that's maybe something what's not so long-term solution, but like in reality that's still happening. We also have seen situations where employee and customer happiness scores are pretty low. And what we usually hear then in about 1 or 2 years is that they tell us that, hey, we are actually a bit like running out of money, and we have to cancel the Happy or Not service. So basically, maybe we can do the conclusion that in case you don't have happy customers, or if you don't have happy employees, it may lead to some financial issues. And the fourth category is about having happy customers and happy employees. And that's maybe only category where we see fast growth happening. So like when, and of course, like it feels pretty obvious that that's maybe the category where you get the best results.
So actually it brings up a question. I'll jump ahead about, because there are different arguments that say that, especially now, especially if you're under pressure, you want to prioritize financial success over maybe investing in the happiness of your employees. How do you take that argument? What do you say to those?
Yeah, maybe about the financial success, I would say that it's maybe also a bit about the data sets. Maybe like 5-10 years ago, many organizations, basically the financial data was available, or it has been available for a long time. And when you have data only about the financials, it's maybe easy to like stick on that. But nowadays, I think like all of us know, there is more and more data available about the marketing, about the sales. Like many companies are having amazing product metrics at place. So when you start to have like more and more data about each part of the operations, then it's easy to understand that how the success looks like. So you may recognize that, hey, we have this group of customers who always stay with us. They almost never churn. And then the one question is that what we can learn from those customers. Like what's common with the customers who are always staying with us. And when diving into data, you may see that, hey, when this and this and this is happening, then we are actually able to keep the customers. And then the financial success also happens.
Right. So do you see this, though, as a chicken and egg situation between the engagement of the employees and the financial success? Or do you see this as two separate issues?
So of course, like when building the long-term success, it's about the employees, of course. On short term, like something else can maybe work, but like when building the success in long term, then it's about building the proper foundation where people are heard.
So it's interesting because one of the things that I truly believe in is that in fulfilling KPIs is the fact that the biggest acronym for me has been sort of keep people imagining, and how do you keep them imagining? And so, I mean, in Happy or Not, since you are dealing with these emotions, were you able to do this in your own company? And if so, how did it work?
Yeah, so like if thinking about happiness as a topic, I would say that it's outcome of many things. And so happiness is outcome, and so basically what's behind that. And then it's usually about things like, so basically it's about like listening people, understanding that where people are heading, what they want about their future. Do people know what they are expected? Do people know what are the key KPIs? What this certain team is focusing on? Like discussing and listening employees that, like, do our employees actually know that where the company is heading, and what's the role of each function and so on. So when all that foundation is in place, then there can be happiness. So it's kind of like outcome of those. And when you have the happy employees because of these reasons, then also the financial success can come. But it's maybe a bit tricky to build that other way.
But that's actually leads me to a next question. What is actually the role of the leadership in really bringing in the happiness? Is it something that's supposed to come from the employees themselves? Is it something that comes from the leadership? And if so, how do you really make employees believe it and feel it?
Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, definitely like leadership has big role and the management, because like I think like we have now here like many startups and people who are building their companies. So it's about building the structure around the happiness. It's about building the foundation, which again like consists of these different parts about the happiness, making sure that all of us are heading to the right direction, making sure that like all team members know what's the problem, what we are solving, and also listening to the customers, so that we know that maybe the market fit is like almost there. So then it's about listening to customers that what are possible the product gaps, what we still should work on. And to get there, it's much easier when you have leadership and the management in place who is ready to listen. Because like when people recognize that, hey, by listening we can actually learn, then that's what drives the learning and development.
So it brings a big question, because I think you also maybe notice that when they go maybe for your service, and correct me if you see it differently, or when they go to these solutions like happiness, they usually go out of a place of stress, out of a place of I need a solution now to turn around to get employee engagement and so on. Is it an effective tool to suddenly switch on happiness?
Yeah, so in practice, what we see happening on the field is that there are organizations where for example, the HR team, they are buying the survey tool or also like some kind of tool to understand how happy employees are, and then getting the results from there, but like not maybe really doing the actions. But actually, it's pretty opposite. So even like definitely the priority should be the actions. That what actions the company has done based on the results, and then following up those actions with the employees, and also like sharing that where we are with the different improvements what organization is working on. So.
And do you see if the companies that you're working with that it, or maybe also in Happy or not, does it attract? Because we're all very involved with talent acquisition and getting the best people on the team. How does having this really embedded in the culture help in this? And do you see an effect on this as well?
Yeah, like so when you have happy employees, you most likely will have less turnover as well. And also like opposite, in case the employee satisfaction starts to go down, then unfortunately it's usually the best talent what will maybe leave first. So the best talent has maybe the most options as well. And so yeah, that's the reason why we encourage organizations to focus on like all the parts of the process. So getting the data, but also doing the actions, and so like listening, but also doing the actions and following up those with the employees. Yeah.
That's actually really interesting, because I was reading this morning from Helsinki, from Harvard Business School, a little different than Helsinki. It's from Harvard, and there was a research, and I'll read this, that said basically that when employees are given the opportunity to use imagination and have their ideas heard and valued, then what they discovered that there's a rise in intrinsic motivation, there's a rise in engagement, there's a rise of happiness at work. And what do you think about that? And did Happy or Not manage to create such an environment?
Yeah, that's excellent research, and great that there are entities who are doing those. Maybe like, what would be like good example? For example, in the retail space, like maybe 5, 10, 15 years ago, in retail, it was a lot about management doing the decisions of what's our target group, what are the products what we should be selling at each site, and what are the actions what we should take at what are the actions what we should do at each retail site to improve the results. But nowadays, it's actually a bit opposite. It's more about management making sure that the field operations have all the tools available, so that they can use their imagination and brains and come up with ideas about how to improve results at each site. So like I would say that like big trend what we see is that organizations are thinking that how they can make sure that the decisions can be done on the field instead of only at the on the management level, because like usually people on the field have the best knowledge about what's happening there, and the more tools you give there, and when you make sure that those people feel safe, they again like know where the company is heading, what we are doing, then the best decisions will be done there, and the organizations that kind of organizations are successful. I think like one great example about that is Amazon. Like that's the structure what they are having. They are running a lot of experiments and learning from those and testing different concepts, and as soon as they find something what's working well, for example within the retail, then they start scaling that. But before, they let like people to think and test, and people have space to fail as well.
Right.
So.
But by the way, do you see this as having an effect only internally, or does it have an effect externally? Does it like support customer retention? Does it support their long-term staying with you and investing in more products?
Yeah, good question. So of course, like in case let's say that the employee turnover is high, what that would mean in practice, for example in B2B, it means that when your customer is discussing with the organization, there is always new person. So okay, this time it's Mike, now it's Sean, now it's Henrik. When the team is happy, they will stay, and the team is same. Then also the knowledge stays there. And in some industries, results are better, but in some cases, like there is like lot of room to improve.
So, I mean, in the crowd right now, there's sits a lot of investors and a lot of startups. So the investors have their portfolio companies that want to succeed. So, and the startups are these new leaders that are trying to build the company. And, you know, you convinced me about happiness and how it affected you. And I see the success of Happy or Not. And it's clear, the connection is clear. The question is right now for those startup leaders that want to build this culture in their company as well, starting at this stage, because I know they put a lot of things off, but this is a thing to build. But what is that maybe one thing that you would tell them to start off with, because it's a long journey, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a long journey, and I know it's really hard. Happy or Not is now the third business what we have been scaling up, and it feels that we always fail a bit with this, but still. Like when scaling company and when building the startup, you are usually pretty busy with the product fit related topics. So kind of I try to make sure that there is actually need for the product what the team has built. But I would say that like maybe the like number one thing is just like the listen, so that you stop and you just like listen that how team feels. And are all critical components in place, and same with the customers.
Just like as simple as that, listen?
Just simple as that, yeah. And at least like what we have seen that when you start scaling your business, you are just like kind of like running and you are like busy with many things, and sometimes you just like forget, or at least we have like we have like missed that a bit, like not listening enough employees and customers.
This is a beautiful insight, connects to empathy, which I love, obviously.
Yeah.
And obviously it's working. So thank you much for your time. Thank you much for the wonderful insights. I hope you took a lot from Heikki, because this is from a person who actually done it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you very much for all of you. I'll say Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. And thank you for being such a wonderful audience. Goodbye.